Go for it. That's fine.
All right. Hey!
What?
Hey! This is an experiment. By the nature of this video, it may be a little languagey, so you've been fairly warned. But this is just going to be me and Movie Mike, Eddie and Movie Mike, driving to Lincoln to get their Lincoln Marathon crap.
Roadie Video 101.
Roadie on the road. Coffee and cars. It's like Seinfeld. I can't say it though. I'll get sued. He has a podcast. Did you know that? It's called
Jerry Seinfeld?
Coffee and Cars with Comedians. Where he has coffee and he talks to comedians while he drives around one of his cars. He's a big car guy.
On the road, episode 1.
Right. So this is, yeah. road job.
No, with two guys in the car, we're not calling it that.
All right. So anyway, continue. We're gonna carry on as if you weren't here. Were you gonna say something?
If who weren't here?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. That sounds really mean.
What were you saying before?
I don't remember.
Well, the thing I was saying before, I moved to Lincoln in early 97, and left in late 99, and it's crazy because it was a short time frame, but it felt like it lasted forever.
Yeah.
Not forever, but a long time. I mean, and it's just because of all the stuff that happened before I got there, the reason for my moving, and then while I was there, it was very, like, the stakes were very high.
Yeah.
You know, for me especially. I mean, well, only me. It was just me at that point. So I was describing it to Tom yesterday, where I got to Lincoln, I had $500. It was 1997 money, so it was like $800 or $900. I don't know.
Nice.
But so I had $500, and I felt pretty good about having that money. And I was like, I'm just gonna get an apartment. I need to get the necessities to get going.
Sure.
And so, obviously, a lot of legit apartments won't rent to somebody that doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At that age, I knew that, but it didn't carry all the way forward in my brain. Like, that's going to make this hard, even finding a place to live. You're going to ask me where you work, and you're going to say, nowhere yet.
Nowhere yet.
So, I applied at this apartment to live there because, frankly speaking, it was the closest thing I could get to within walking. I was also walking.
Sure.
Did I tell you that?
No, but I mean, that doesn't surprise me in a new place, though. I mean,
well,
especially moving up here, you know, at 18.
I moved to, I was 19, but I moved to Lincoln, and I had left my car behind in Florida because it was a piece of garbage, and it was gonna explode. It was gonna explode with me in it. So I'm like, I can't bring this car. So I rode the bus to Nebraska. It took 22 hours straight.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then got off the bus and literally just had my money and the clothes on my back and the clothes on my bag and like some CDs. No way of getting around town. And I lived in Orlando at the time before that, and I had had a bus pass in Orlando, and they had a very comprehensive public transportation system.
Oh, nice.
In Orlando, you could get around anywhere with your bus pass.
Sure.
So I was kind of operating on that logic. Like, Lincoln's a city. They'll have a legit public transit system. Nope. Got there and found out very quickly they had a very sad transit system that really only went like two places: the mall and the university.
Yep.
It's raining now. They might hear that on the
I was wondering
it might be louder than us.
Probably.
Who knows? This is an experiment. And so, no car. So my radius was very small.
Sure.
So I was walking all around downtown Lincoln, and I found this place. It was an apartment building, and I walked in and didn't really go into detail, but just kind of said, I need a place. The guy's like, it's $250 a month. How perfect was that? And I need your first and last month's rent. I was like, wow. No, it was first month's rent and a security deposit equal to 1 month's rent. So I was just like, all right, that's cool. It worked out. And then in my 19-year-old brain, I was like, yes!
A place.
I have exactly that much money. Instead of being like, damn it.
I have exactly that much
I
money.
don't have any more money. Exactly. And so I paid that. So I'm like, I got an apartment. Now I need a job. And it just, I mean, the whole affair was just very like epic. It was raw. It was like the do or die.
Sure.
We're talking about do or die. And a lot of those situations are like, you know, that phrase can get used a little loosely sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? But I think a lot of people in their lives, whether they start their own businesses or they go out as a foreign exchange student or they do whatever, or they save up a bunch of their own money and they use it for something that is kind of not a guaranteed thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of us have been in that position where there's this thing we've decided to do that if it goes well, it'll go well. You know, like, yay, it worked. And if it goes bad, it'll go bad in a bad way.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Pass fail.
sort of, you know. I mean, even during that time, there wasn't a point where I could stop and pat myself on the back.
Sure. It was kind of like, regardless of how it's going to end out, unfortunately, you've kind of already set it in motion. You've got to see it through.
Right. It's a good analogy for life in a way.
Sure.
So it was fun. I mean, honestly, it takes a certain personality type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of, you know.
I don't know that I would ever necessarily do it, but at the same time,
But you could.
But at the same time, I guess the way I look at it too is I've never been at that level, I guess, in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I think, and not to get overly personal, and people who watch this and want to know these things, it's like, you know, this should hopefully be enough of an answer. For people who wonder why that was, and a lot of people sum it up quickly to, well, he was following his girlfriend. Oh, there's a little wiggle in her jiggle.
Can't bother me.
Can you pull over?
No.
I think we'll be okay. If we're not, we'll die on this video. I don't want to die, Michael Bickford. Not like this.
Yeah.
I will endorse something. Scooter's Coffee. I don't know if does this reverse. I can't read the words. It's delicious. Shrink calls it candy coffee. So get your candy. But
Crack coffee.
oh yeah, so the people who were kind of, you know, it was easy to sum up and say, oh, Eddie followed his girlfriend. You know, look at him being crazy, following his girlfriend. And at the time, pre-going there was actually discussions about me and this girlfriend breaking up. No, I was like, oh, you're gonna go to Nebraska for college, we should break up. I mean, it sucks, but you know. But so my moving, like everything in life, there's very, very rarely just one reason for something.
Sure.
You know, and so my moving out to here, people ask that too. Even now, to this day, they're like, you lived in the East Coast,
And you moved here.
no less Florida, and you moved here? Like, yeah. And I've always had that thought, like, some place is as good as any other place. You know? As long as it's not like, you know,
Well,
you're not in North Korea, you know? I mean,
it'd be kind of hard to move out of there if you're
I
stuck
mean,
there.
so much, when you move so much like I did as a kid,
Yeah.
your notion of home is very fluid. It's like, this is where I live now. It's not like, this is home. I mean, if you had that mentality, and every time you had to move, you'd have a crisis.
Yeah.
My home, no, my home.
Well, I mean, I know I've even heard stories, you know, people that live in Chicago, people that live in LA, people that live in San Diego. Man, this place sucks. I just want to get out of here. There's nothing to do. And the thing is, it's that whole grass is always greener on the other side. So.
Oh, dude. I remember I had a relative, I won't use any names. I was talking to this person, I'm going to be even gender neutral so no one knows who it is. I'll be this
Why are you
person.
playing the pronoun game? Sorry.
I was talking to this person, and we were having a conversation, and they had said we were talking about things to do in this city.
Sure.
And I was like, hey, and I was like, so what's to do? What do we want to do in this town? What's there to do in this town? And this person's response was, move out of this town.
Oh God.
There's nothing to do here. And it's like, yeah, you hear that from people who live in Chicago. The rain might be ruining the. I'm just gonna go with it.
Find out.
Yeah.
Reality.
Oh yeah, you live somewhere and you get used to it and you're bored. You know? I live in Orlando, for God's sake, and there's times, plenty of times, where you're just bored.
Really?
Like, how would you ever be bored in a town like Orlando? Well,
It's because you don't get to see that kind of thing every single day.
you don't go to Disney every day.
Yeah. But that's the thing, when you have the opportunity to go there every single day, it's not as extravagant.
It's like having Christmas every day.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh yeah, it's Christmas is no big deal.
I mean, part of Disney's allure is the fact that it can't happen all the time. And partially it's because it's expensive. So it kind of makes sense in a way that it costs a lot of money to do. Because
Sure.
if it was cheap, it'd be there all the time.
Everybody would live in the southeast portion of the U.S.
Plus, there's no way they could maintain that level. I mean, that park is so, like, the tier
Sure.
through which, it's the measuring stick through which all other, like, theme parks are measured.
Very much so.
I remember, and that's where, like, well, anyway, long story short, me moving was a multifaceted decision. It was not just a one thing, like, and I'm out. No, it was several layers of decision making in play there. And I just realized if I'm going to be a fully realized version of myself, I cannot. I can't.
You can't let yourself get bogged down.
I
in
can't
one place.
stay. I have to go. Yeah, coming back around to Disney, I peaked too early with theme parks. You know, my aunt works at Disney, and because of that, they get a certain amount of free passes they get
Sure.
to do a year, and so she would bring in our family every so often. I mean, as a kid, I probably went to Disney about 4 times, I'd say, you know, as a child.
Sure.
And then as a teenager, or an older teenager, because we lived in Florida, I would go quite often,
Sure.
you know? So it's like, so I was used to that, and then I remember we were like, yeah, we're gonna go to Worlds of Fun. Shereen and I, when we were dating. I'm like, okay, let's go to Worlds of Fun, and we go there, and all I am is like commenting on how crappy the whole park looks. Eventually I realized it's just a different kind of place, and I just have to accept it for what it is. It's not even fair, it's like weight classes, you know? It's like, this guy, Disney's a heavyweight, you got a featherweight trying to fight Disney. It's like, it's not fair. It's not a fair comparison, man.
So have you guys ever taken the kids then?
We took the kids when they were really young,
Okay.
and they sort of remember it. Gwen does not.
Okay.
So we're going to take them again fairly soon.
Sure.
Because I figured it would be one last gasp. Gwen will be, you know, 8-ish,
Sure.
8, 9, and
I think it would be kind of funny, you know. And granted, I don't know, you know, when parents go with their kids anyway. I'm sure for them it's more about seeing the kids excited about
It
stuff
really
than it is them enjoying it quite as much. That's, I can just see you going, it's like, you know, all the kids are just running in and they're all excited. And you're like,
yeah, I've been here. But the cool part about it is, you know, especially with having kids, is that's reason enough to go. You
sure.
know,
Oh yeah, that's what I say. It's at that point it's about seeing them be happy and seeing them have fun.
Yeah.
It's not so much about you having fun. I mean, not that you won't have fun, but your fun is them happy.
I can see when we went the last time with the small kids, I can see why when we went when I was a child and my parents would be either A, in a somewhat sour mood or wanting to sit down. I was able to understand and be in that position after a while. It's like, man, there's just a long line here.
Yeah. As an adult, you're looking at the moment that you're in right there. It's like, wow, we're still standing in line. Where
Well-
the kids are like, oh, we're going to get to go on this ride pretty soon.
That's one thing the theme parks kind of figured out, but not really at the same time. Like, the waiting in line could be turned into an experience of its own.
Good.
And some places have done a decent job of making that less insane. You know, they put cool decorations up. They have like auditory things going on.
Yeah, things for you, things to
Right.
kind of occupy your senses.
Right,
But
but
you're just standing there.
I think they need to do a better job even still. Like, even do more. Because
Sure.
some of those wait times where you're getting upwards of an hour, and it's like, if you're going to be in line for an hour for a thing that lasts 10, 15 minutes at the most, you know,
Yeah.
make it worthwhile, man.
That's one of the big reasons why. Like, I mean, I've always wanted to go, but at the same time, I just.
You've never been? What? Mike Bickford,
I never got to go to.
you need to go to Disney, son. What?
Never been to Florida.
Ever?
No.
How many of the states have you been in?
Chicago's the furthest east I've ever been.
Isn't that crazy?
I've always gone west. I've been to like every state, well, except for what? Washington.
Well, you've been
Oregon,
to the
Florida,
north
or California.
You've been to Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, Pennsylvania. Washington, yeah. Okay, so technically Pennsylvania is the furthest east I've been.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? One person's total existence is another person's like, yeah, I've never been there before. I mean, I know it sounds, obviously, but still, it's just relativity, man.
Like I said, growing up, I mean, we always went west instead. I mean, we never really. Our vacations were more like camping trips and stuff like that, just because But I think that's the big thing, the big differentiation too is, you kind of grew up in and around the cities and stuff, where I grew up in a farm town. I mean, our idea of vacation wasn't going to the city; it was going on a camping trip, going on a fishing trip, which I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I loved it, and that's why I think if I was going to move, I would want to move west.
In fact, that's
Colorado, Wyoming, stuff like that.
It's probably a better version of a vacation, to be honest. I mean, there is something to be said about sightseeing.
Sure.
Try to fix this for a second. I'm messing with a good thing. Alright. He was looking up at us, kind of. I don't know. I think those experience ones are always better, though.
Sure.
Because Shireen just mentions the same thing. Like, her parents would go camping. They would go to like experience type places as a kid. We didn't do as much traveling as a kid. My dad was gone a lot, and my mom, the notion of her taking kids out by herself was always kind of weird. We did go to Florida. If we went anywhere for a vacation in the summer, we would go to Florida to visit family.
Yeah.
And that only happened a handful of times, actually.
And when you've got family, I mean, it's something a little different too, even at that.
Well, and that's expensive. I mean, it's just expensive,
definitely.
and I don't want to get into a big thing now, but I mean, you can read all the statistics you want. Statistically now, people who are quote unquote middle income, for all the things that means, when you look at the expenditures, houses, cars, kids, food, all these things, base entertainment stuff, nothing crazy and opulent. You compare that to a family from the mid-late 1970s, people today are actually making less money.
Yeah.
Maybe that number's changed, maybe it's a little different now, but I mean, I read this article a year ago, and it was not some like flippant little it was a money magazine type respected, I want to say it was like a Forbes or something, middle income families, when you look at how much things cost now, make statistically less money.
Oh yeah.
Or not statistically, but just comparatively less money than families in the same category in the 70s.
Yeah.
70s and early 80s. That being said, it's just harder to get out and do these kinds of things, I'm going to cough to death now on the video.
The car's not going to blow up, but you're still going to die.
You might die.
You might. I'm going to be fine.
Exactly. Pop another lozenge. I'll do one more lozenge, then I'll eat my sandwich.
Drag you across the finish line.
Yeah, tomorrow's race. I'm literally like you said. I'm looking at it as just one of our long runs.
I mean, like you were talking about. When we did the Feast and Feathers thing. Sure, I'm wearing obviously.
Where it goes, son.
I think I tried not to make it a mental thing. I mean, once you get in the moment, you don't think of it as a race anymore.
Right.
But leading up to it, and like I was saying, Corporate Cup was the same thing. I know this is going to be the same thing. It's going to frustrate me, but it's just a part of the event life, I guess to say.
As people pass you and stuff?
No, I don't have the slightest problem with that. I don't even have a problem with the whole starting out slow thing, just because there's so many people. The place where I have an issue with is I get there and I have to wait 30 minutes to 45 minutes before I can do anything. I don't like that. Like, when we go run on our normal days, we hit the trail, we run. We don't stand there for 30, 45 minutes.
No.
That's my biggest issue. And that's where the mental game comes into play for me.
Yep.
And it's not so much the mental as, oh my God, this is an event. I have to prove myself or something like that. It's like, this is horse crap. I want to actually start running when I get there. I came here to run. Let me run. But I don't know. I think a lot of that is, like I said, I haven't done enough of them. I think it hasn't mentally set in that this is an event. You will not start running as soon as you get there. So
you won't.
In the sense that this is probably twice as big as the Corporate Cup. Is it going to be any better?
They do it in phases now.
That's
corporate.
Right.
So I'm not corporate for this thing. So what they'll do is they release chunks of people at once. Boom, now you. Boom, now you. So depending on where you get lined up at, you could be in the first phase, second phase, third phase. It's all random. It's not like you get organized by anything. You just get in line and then they say, this group go, and then they stop.
Sure.
So, which makes sense because...
it does. I mean, because then you don't have, 40,000 people going all at the same time.
Now, if you're trying to quote-unquote win the race, it screws you up. Because what if you're the very last group?
Yeah. You'd almost have to, well...
Those people, I think, always get put up front.
Are you chipped?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, it'd probably be that same thing. You'll have your gun time, and then you'll have your actual run time.
Oh, yeah. So you can still technically win it and not come in the first.
But that's what I mean. If you knew you were somebody who was super fast, the gun goes off, and you might wait for everybody to get by you. All right, now I'm going to go. You know what I mean? So your gun time ends up being 45 minutes longer than your actual run time.
Right.
Which I think that would be kind of funny to
And I
see.
don't think it ever took that long, but I think it takes, 15 minutes.
Sure. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Still.
But if you're a fast runner, you're literally waiting for everybody to go. So by the time you get up to speed, you can start weaving in and out of people. So, no, I actually thought that portion of it was kind of interesting when we did the Corporate Cup.
Yeah.
So, kind of, in a weird way, excited kind of to see how the start of it, anyway, plays out.
Yeah, I'm just going to, like we said, treat it like an event. I'll treat it like a long run. If I feel good, I'll increase my speed. If I feel kind of pooey, I'll slow down. If I absolutely have to walk, I will. I'm not going to beat myself up too bad.
My biggest goal would be
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But if I'm feeling dicey, I'm not going to, push myself to where I pass out or...
Yeah.
Anyway.
My biggest goal would be the one of two things. And this is what every event that I always do will be. I mean, time-wise, depending on what event I'm doing, obviously. My goal would be to do it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
My second goal, and this is one that will be at any event that I ever do, will be to be able to run the whole thing without having to stop it.
Right. I'm in the reverse order. My goal is to finish it first.
Well,
second goal, under 2 hours. Then I'm going to be super happy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm doubtful if I can finish it.
I know for a fact I can finish it.
I know.
Because we've done almost these long ones before.
Yeah, I know.
Mine is because our conditioning has
past
tapered off.
Has wobbled
dramatically.
A little bit.
I question whether I could run the whole thing. I still think I'll be able to push myself to do that, but
I mean, think about it. 2 weeks ago, Saturday, we did last Saturday? It was last Saturday. Yeah, last Saturday. We did...
Last Saturday, we just did 6.
I did a little over 6. And I felt good.
Oh, yeah, I didn't give a crap.
And you hit like 5 something.
Yeah.
But I felt good. Like, I was like...
I felt a lot better the week before.
I could run another one of these if I had to.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I was at. My goal during this week was to just maintain with...
I think for me, the big thing for that last Saturday was the mental aspect of the fact that we were back on goddamn treadmill.
Treadmill sucks.
Because we went from running around Prairie Queen. Mm-hmm. I felt awesome that day. Like, if I feel that good at the race tomorrow, there's going to be absolutely no problem with me running this thing.
And bear in mind, that was we did over 10 miles that day we had a little bit of a lull in our conditioning there too.
And that was fairly hilly too.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think that's going to play a lot into it as well.
I think I stopped to walk, what, once?
Twice.
Yep.
We both kind of did towards the end.
Yeah.
When we were up that last hill.
It was hill, man. It was hilly as heck. But this race, this course, if I remember, is fairly flat.
Yeah.
There's one decent hill in it. I'm not going to get too... The key, like any race like this, is you got to know what kind of runner you are.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you
run to your style, don't run to the event.
I mean, yeah, the cool thing is pick a person, whether that's your partner or whether that is somebody ahead of you or just barely ahead of you who's keeping a similar pace.
Mm-hmm.
But that way you can always kind of find a little goal to kind of push yourself.
Well, I read a really cool deal that was talking about like running a half marathon, just kind of the steps to it, the stages to it, I guess,
Yeah.
mile X through mile X. Blah, blah, blah.
It's I can do, or it's like I'm warming up. This is garbage. It doesn't take me so long to warm up.
No.
It was a
like,
serious article.
Oh, I mean, it was fairly serious.
Yeah.
It was like, your first mile through your fourth mile, like you said, that's kind of your warm up stage, and then, just take it easy, let your muscles get warmed up, let them get, worked out. 5 through, 11 or something like that was, just kind of your, keep a pace that's comfortable with you. Don't push too hard. Push yourself as much as you can, knowing that you still have a race to run. And then what, like 12 and 13 was, find that you're almost there. That's when they start talking about, find that person that, or no, I think it was 5 through 11 or whatever, was find that person who's kind of right at the pace with you and just focus on that. Don't think about the running aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 12 and 13 was, you're almost there. Find that person that's going maybe just a little bit quicker than you and kind of keep up with them. Then it was like, the last, 2/10 or whatever it is. It's like, this is the end. Just sprint your, run your head out.
It's hard because to say the last mile is kind of tough sometimes, especially in this. Because this is about, for me, especially now, with just everything we talked about, even at 13 miles, it's still a race that is about endurance.
Oh, yeah.
And so if I'm going to sprint something out, I got to wait till like the last half mile.
Yeah.
And then turn on the gas and just fucking...
Well, even when and granted, we've never run...
Just go.
We've never done the 12 outside. We were always doing it on the treadmills. So
we did like
several
laps and a half at Zorinsky. We did a couple of those.
We've never done 2 laps.
No.
We did like a lap and a half.
That's what I'm saying. We did the full length.
We ended up doing like 10 or 11 that day.
Mm-hmm. Which here, if you can run 11, bear in mind, in true half marathon training, you never run the full distance.
No. So I know when my sister was doing it. I know the longest one she ever did was 12.
Yeah. So we're gonna be fine.
Sure.
But if I had my druthers the past 2 weeks, the past 3 weeks, if I looked at all of our running, I would have added probably, within 3 weeks' time, I probably would have added about 3 or 4 more runs in there.
Yeah.
But that's just how life goes sometimes, man.
All you can do is not let yourself get worked up about it.
It is what it is, and your attitude going in is going to dictate so much of it.
Sure.
It sounds cliche, but it's true. So I guess I should explain why we're going. So we're going into Lincoln to pick up our stuff because the day before the race they do the packet pickup, and so
could do it the day of, but we don't want to leave at 3 o'clock either.
Yeah, and it's the day of the race, and I hate it. I hate it at the day of the race when you're trying to do something that pulls your brain out of the event.
Yeah. Oh, no,
I gotta get in line and get my thing. It's like I'd rather just do it now. Plus, you and I worked so hard on this. It's nice to kind of have some time to kind of recap it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Mike, horses.
Where have we come from? Aw. Where have we come from? Where are we going?
Yeah. Where have we come from? Somewhere. Where are we going? I don't know.
When will we get there? Who knows?
We'll know when we get there.
Yeah. When will we get there? We'll know when we get there.
Oh man. No, it'll be a good one.
I think ultimately I'm excited for it just because the first big event. I mean, I've done obviously a few others, but
Yeah, this is your first, like,
well,
big
the
race.
Corporate Cup, I mean, is a pretty big event.
It
but
is.
This is bigger than that, so.
Mhm.
And this will probably be the biggest one that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, I said that, you know, like, after the Corporate Cup, I'm like, no, I have no interest in ever doing a half. Screw that crap. Then a few weeks later, I'm like, yeah.
maybe after the
sign up
half,
for
you
the
got
half.
something in your brain goes off, and you're like,
If I do that and I want to do it full, I'm going to be pissed. I don't want to run 2 hours, let alone 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
well, we'll just see. I know, just with all the things that I've kind of set as goals,
Yeah.
and everything from the podcast to personal goals to professional goals, not even professional goals, but just trying to maintain a healthy work-life balance, which has been
Harder, easier said than done.
which has been interesting to say the least in the past, couple of months. But with that, it's just hard to be like, and something in there has to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's only room in your basket for so many eggs, and it's like,
As much as you want to do everything you want to do, life
Yeah.
does not accommodate that.
so, I think for the running for me, like I said before, I might kind of copy Justin a little bit. Start doing some smaller runs again.
Yeah.
Make the 10Ks be my big race
Well,
that I do.
I've talked to Cameron at work, and that's, I mean, he's talked about that he would be interested in doing, more smaller events,
Mm-hmm.
This year, like 5Ks, 10Ks. So, I mean, there's, a third person we can pull into. And
True.
so,
Yeah.
because that's what I'd like to do too, is do some more, smaller events. Something just more than anything to keep you, keep a goal for you, basically.
I don't like those gimmicky races, though. I'm sorry. Some of them, I have to be in the right mood, and doing one of them might be fun. But like, all the ones that are like, color me bad or color my face, where
Oh,
they
the
hit
color
you.
run?
Ugh.
I'd like to do that one at least
the
once.
I mean, there's so many now. It's like
Oh, yeah.
the Neon Challenge.
Well, that's
Cheese
like
grater
Run
run.
has one like what every day almost, probably.
Oh man, and they're always in the summer, which is crazy. And they hold them at like 9 in the morning. It's the opposite of every It's hot, dude. You love the hot.
I do.
So you're the one.
I like to come away with like drenched in sweat.
I drenched in sweat already. I don't need it to be 1,000 degrees. Seriously, the summer is almost worse for me than the winter for running. If it wasn't for the icy ground, I would run up until you've seen it. I'll run up until it is damn cold. Because you're cold for about a half mile.
Yeah, I would say about half mile. Because I know when that first day we did that, that was the first time I'd really run in the cold.
Yeah, and it was cold.
When we ran around Weerspan.
Yep.
It was. I think it was low 20s.
It was low 20s.
Yeah, it wasn't as cold as the freaking Feast of Feathers, but
Right. Oh, that was so
that was cold. That was 16, 17 degrees when we were leaving.
Wasn't it colder than that?
16 or 17.
The bananas were frozen solid.
Yeah,
Tink, tink,
that'll
tink.
happen when it's 10 degrees below freezing.
Like, that was where we had full-on frozen boogers.
But the same thing, same thing held true. Yeah, it sucked while you're standing in line not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, half a mile. Granted, it didn't help that, we were both running and, we were both, packed to the gills with
And that's
thermal gear.
they do a 5K on that too, don't they? They do a 5, 10, and a half marathon.
Yes.
I think I'll always do the 10K.
I would do the 10K again next year.
But it is cold.
But it was funny because, by the end, I had taken my gloves off. I was about ready to take my freaking hoodie off.
Yeah.
Granted, I had 3 layers on.
Yeah. I left my hat on the whole time.
Yeah.
Towards the wrapping up of the first lap, I felt a little warmish.
Yeah.
But I was like, this hat comes off, I know I'm going to be cold. So I don't care. I'm leaving it on. But summer running for me is a mixed bag because
It's easier
It's
to
too hot.
warm up than it is to cool down when
Well,
you're running.
yeah, once you're cold for a bit, but then you get warm and then you're
Because
good.
your body naturally warms up.
When you're
In
hot,
the summer, not only is it hot outside, but your body is still warming up.
you're still hot. That's why in the summer I run as early as I can. Man, it's cold, it's brutal. Like my ear, when I swallow, it hurts. You never have that?
Really?
Yeah. It'll be fine. It happens all the time. Not all the time, but when I get a sore throat, that just comes along with it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like 90% of the time it happens when I get a sore throat. If I don't get a sore ear when I get a sore throat, I'm like, yay! It's a bonus. Look, it's a Christmas tree farm.
Baby Christmas trees.
I always assume that's what they are.
That they're baby Christmas trees.
Little baby Christmas tree. What are these? Are those goats? Those look like goats. Man, Shereen made a good point. She's like, you have been going to Lincoln more in the past month than you've ever done this. I'm like, yeah, I know. We can do the same thing, dude. We can just park by the office.
Alright.
Scope it out that way.
It's a couple blocks away.
I don't get a little walk-in, lube up our joints. I said lube up our joints. Boop, 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 boop.
I haven't been here since our little tech thingy a while back.
How long ago was that?
A couple months, maybe. A few months.
My phone flies off the thing. I had a screen protector put on it yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you know they.
Can I do it again?
No, don't do it.
I can't turn it
It can't
slower.
because the curve of your thing caught up to the width of the phone. I'm gonna leave it there. When we got my daughter's phone, they sold me on a screen protector.
Oh, God.
No, seriously, no, dude. With my family, I'm not saying that they're accident prone, but just saying that. Well, yeah, some of them
There has
more
to
than
be an
others.
accident prone.
But the point is, and I am too, so I can't. I've so far been lucky about my phone, but other things I've made mistakes with. But, so I don't have a screen protector because I don't like the feeling of it on my finger.
Sure.
Because it's kind of grabby. You know what I mean? Like the glass surface of your phone is all smooth, and then you put this thing on top of it to keep it safe. But then now it's all.
Sure. Alright. Well, you can get different texture ones.
Well, that's where we're at here. So we're
Okay.
getting my daughter's phone, and the guy goes, and he didn't really he wasn't pushy at all. Because I said no to a lot of things already, so it wasn't like he thought he had some sucker on his hook, you know. He's just like, hey, just in the notion of screen protectors, I'm just mentioning this. This one is a different one. It's not plasticky, it's glass. It's a glass screen protector. It's like made of glass. And he goes, they tend to be kind of tricky to put on, but all of us here were trained to do it, so we put them on here in the store for you. But they're very good. He goes, look, I have one on my phone, and I dropped it, and it's designed to crack so your phone screen doesn't. Yeah,
Weird.
it takes the shock for your screen, and the actual thing itself cracks, not your screen.
Oh, never seen that before, I guess.
So if it's dropped bad enough, the thing will crack, you can get it replaced, and your screen is fine. It literally displaces the shock. And so
That's cool.
I looked it up even online. I was like, that's pretty cool. So we came back, and we got one for her, and it is smooth as the screen.
Sure.
So I went ahead and got one for my phone.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because I'm like, yeah,
Better safe than sorry.
I don't have a life-proof case on it or anything like that. I don't like those giant cases that turn your pocket inside out when you.
That's why I have just a really thin one on it.
Saw a guy in public once pull his phone out. It was so big, turned his pocket inside out and all.
Yeah, when you kind of have to dig for it.
He's stuffing his pocket back in. I'm like, eh.
Do you remember how to get there off the top of your head?
To where?
Has you been there enough times?
The office?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I was there yesterday.
You were?
I didn't even eat my sandwich yet.
What were you there for?
For the presentation.
Oh, yeah, that's right, duh. Nice.
Shove it in your
Good
face.
sandwich.
House.
I just don't remember which.
We turn on Q.
Is it Q? It's not. No, that's not. That's this one, isn't it?
Getting right lane right here. Oh, look at that.
Aww. Oh, look how cute she was.
Dad and his son running.
You do that with your daughter?
I do. She's older than that though. She's a little guy. This might make my phone fly off your dash.
No. Turn in slower.
Well, should we bid adieu to our...
Probably.
All right.
So
We're here. We made it alive. You're fortunate. Hey, there's a farmer's market.
Oh, I was like, what the heck?
Goodbye, friends.
Goodbye, world.
We should do the
outside.
drive back.